Welcome guys, here's Rick from the Atlessio family. We had great news from Star Atlas. The new feature is in the pipeline and it's called Aligned Faction Companies. We went through the documentation on Staratlas.Notion.Site and we are pretty impressed. In the last town hall we had the opportunity to listen to Chipto talking about the whole new game mechanics and instantly knew what had to be done. The good fellas from the Atlessio family tried to put all this information into one page. Today I want to talk about this infographic and share with you our thoughts. So which elements do we have here? First we have the Council of Peace, the main factions known as Oni, Aster and Mud. They have established regions of peace which are known as safe and mid-risk zones. Then we have our manufacturer companies, which have established cooperate alignments with the faction in the region. Here we must distinguish between proprietary and dual manufacturers. Finally, we have 4 minor factions with their own proprietary manufacturer: the Javrik, Ecos, Tufa and Fotoli. More about them later. As in the Atlessio family, so in Star Atlas, it's all about loyalty. Loyalty and blueprints, these 2 symbols here. So the main game mechanic is about gaining access to manufacturer blueprints through accumulation of manufacturer loyalty. The blueprints will enable us to craft our own ships and sell it for a profit to other players. So every faction has its own proprietary manufacturer. The direct access to these blueprints is restricted only to the aligned faction. If you are an Aster, you will have direct access to Visa's blueprints. However, as we see, there is a padlock right here. Means that must be a way to bypass this restriction. For other factions, the key to the padlocks is going to be a faction pass. It becomes a bit trickier when we look closer to the dual alignment manufacturers. These companies have set up their corporate alignments with 2 factions. You see the different size of the blueprints? The big one points out which faction has the major alignment with this manufacturer. Major alignment means gaining loyalty in a faster rate. For example, as an Aster, you have the major alignment with Opal. Means that as an Aster you will accumulate loyalty at a faster rate, which will result in more blueprints. We can see also colored padlocks here. If you are a Mud, you won't have direct access to Ogrica. As mentioned earlier, when there's a padlock there must be a way to unlock it. This is going to be done by faction pass too. The resources required for the blueprints are in higher abundance within the region of the aligned faction. So far, so good. Let's focus now on the minor factions. In general, we can make this statement: we must gain loyalty so we can secure access to the proprietary manufacturer of these factions. Our chosen faction will not be affected by that, so it doesn't matter if we are an Aster or a Mud. Our loyalties to our proprietary manufacturer won't get affected. Let's have a closer look over here. For gaining loyalty, for the Javrik and the Ecos, mid and high risk gameplay will be necessary. That means that you must be aligned with them and complete missions to gain loyalty. As return, we get access to Fimble Bios and Fimble Ecos. An important detail is that you will accumulate loyalty faster in high risk zones. The required resources are spread across all regions. One word about Ecos and gaining loyalty. I'm not sure if it will be necessary to be aligned with them or if it will be enough to just completing their missions. That's why I set a question mark right there. If you know, please tell us in the comments. Okay, that was the Javrik and the Ecos, the outlaws and radicals in the metaverse. Now let's have a look to the notorious Tufa. What you need to know here is that the Tufa won't give you anything in mid-risk zones. Gaining loyalty will only be possible within the high-risk zones. As reward, there are waiting blueprints for us. As the Tufa, so will the Fortoli require a high-risk zone gameplay. This will be the most complex and time-consumption manufacturing, but you will get rewarded for your efforts with access to secret manufacturing techniques. The blueprints will enable us to manufacture the rainbow. One point about the resources needed for Tufa and Photolic blueprints. These resources will also be spread through all regions, with one exception: the exotic materials, which will be locked in the high-risk zones. With this in mind, it becomes clear to me how important the role of guilds will be. Guilds which utilizes portfolio construction skills coupled with militaristic game strategy building. My guild is the Atlessio Family, the Metaverse Mafia, and I'm glad I have their backing. If you want to be a part of our family, then join us on Discord. The link is in the description. I hope you like the content. If you want, leave a comment, retweet, and show me some love. Please note that this information is based on public game design documentation and is a subject to change. Here's Rick from the Atlessio Family.